Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. So today we'll be covering chapters 4 and part of chapters 5. So we're slowly progressing. So before we begin though, let us perform Mangalacharan. Ajñāntimirandasya jnānanjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Śrī Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikāyai Priyatmane Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Nārāyaniti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutane Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paśyata Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Rup Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattdas Raghunath Shri Chaitanya Manaha Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Vihaya Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I'd like to offer my millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of my divine spiritual master, Nityalila Vishnu Vishnupada Stotra Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Śrīla Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and also saying millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Nityalila Vishnu Vishnupada Stotra Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Śrīla Prabhupada, and all the Rupa Nuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. And I pray to the lotus feet that as we're studying this Śrīmad Bhagavatam, particularly this most beautiful part of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, may we understand the commentaries of the previous acharyas, understand their moods, and imbibe those within our heart and lives. Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna to all of you. Thank you so much again for coming. I'm very happy that you all are attending this 10th canto series. And I hope you all are finding it very nice, at least for your, not just of any entertainment value, but also for your bhajan sadhan practice. So a few weeks ago, Kamlesh Prabhu wrote to me something very nice, so I'd like to share it with you all. He said, by now, students, or those of us who are attending this, myself included as a student, we should strive to attain a relationship with the Lord. And we should hold ourselves accountable for our own progress in our sadhan bhajan. Something like this. So, very nice realization shared by Prabhu. And I hope that, when he wrote that, I found it very inspiring for me. But I hope that also you all take that into consideration. So the point of this series, and the point of Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10th canto, in essence, is to ignite or inspire that desire to understand the Leela pastimes of the Lord. So many classes are given in this temple and beyond about the Nama, the glories of Harinam, that the chanting of the names of the Lord is the practice in this age of Kali to develop prema. There's also clearly many glories given of the rupa or the form of the Lord. Also, we have discussed at length all of his gunas, not all, but many of his gunas, his qualities. But this particular series is focused on his lila. And if we see in that order, our acharyas gave us Nam, Rup, Guna, Lila. And they gave in this order because from the name, someday we will have a discussion, maybe in the Upadeshamrita series, of how the Nam contains everything. That's why it comes first. So the names of the Lord contain the Lord himself. Many times you hear that bhajan, Hari se bada Hari ka naam, Prabhu se bada Prabhu ka naam. Or naam or nami mein koi antar nahi hai. We hear this many times. But in that bhajan, Hari se bada Hari ka naam, how can Hari's names be bigger than him? Right? So if we ask ourselves two questions. When we think of Krishna, what comes first? When we think and somebody is talking about Krishna, when you think of him, what comes first? Okay. When you think of your husband, yeah, somebody is talking to you, and you think of Kailash Prabhu, your husband. So if I come to you and say, Ritu Didi, how are you? You say, fine. And then I say, how is Kailash Prabhu doing? And then you think of him, and then you answer, oh, he's fine also. So what came first? His name came first, right? His name came first. And if I said, how is your husband? Would that immediately spark your mind to think of him? So he has various names. So for example, Kailash, for example, Prabhu, husband of Ritu Didi, son of, I'm not sure your parents' name, but son of. He can be referred to with the various names. But the name came first. And then the smaran came next, the remembrance of him. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Nama prasphutita rupa hai. From the name, just as a baby comes from the womb of a mother, similarly, the Lord himself comes from the womb of the name. Hence why Hari se bada Hari ka naam. Because you cannot think of Krishna without thinking of Krishna's name first. So therefore, the essential practice is to chant the names, but not just any type of chanting. As for those of you following Upadeshamrita series, this is where this topic is going to be discussed. That not just any chanting of the name, but chanting of the name with proper respect and proper mood and every single day. So, kint adarad anudinam kalu seva jushta. That is when the disease of jaundice, of avidya, will go away. So, nama, rupa, guna, lila. First one must chant the name. Then automatically the rest will manifest. First, when you think of the name, when you're chanting the name, then you will remember his form first. The image of the Lord will come to your heart. Is that not the case? Then, as your sadhan bhajan increases, then you will also remember his great qualities. Not just Hare Krishna, oh, I'm remembering the deities. I'm remembering the painting within my heart. I'm remembering how he looks, his beautiful form. Baraha pidam natavarapu karnayo karnikaram, etc. Then you will also think of his gunas, his qualities. Amongst all the qualities, the topmost is Anyone know? What is the topmost quality of the Lord, or the most prominent quality of the Lord? He is Bhakta Vatsal, that he is the maintainer of the devotee. In any situation, as we have heard from so many stories, he is always there as Rakshishyati, Avashya Rakshishyati. He's always rescuing and maintaining his devotees. After we understand his gunas, which may have some tinge of Aishwarya, we may say he is the Lord, he is the creator of the universe. Now, depending on one's mood and sadhana, and whom he associates with, then one remembers his various leelas. So, when we are studying these leelas, or when we are hearing the leelas, they are meant to ultimately nourish our chanting of the names. Because everything, guna, rupa, leela, all of them manifest from the name, and whenever they manifest, they also simultaneously nourish the name. This is the science of chanting the holy name. So many times in prachar, or in preaching, or even in harikatha, we say simply chant the name, everything else will come. It is true. However, there is no time frame given when the statement is made, right? So one can chant for many, many lifetimes. Bahu janme kariyadi shravana kirtan tabu teha paya Krishna pada prema dhan. You can chant for a long time. You can hear katha for a long time, many lifetimes. But still Krishna prem will not come. That's because you may not be doing it in the right way. So in this way, by remembering the science of chanting the name and trying to move our sadhana to focus on Nam, then Rup, then Guna, and then Leela, we can develop Nama-nishtha, faith in the name, and feel the effect of the name also. All right, so that is my spiel on Nam. So I encourage you all, because we don't give, I guess maybe it's my nature, or maybe due to my inability, and they say that you can only preach what you have yourself. So I don't have it, therefore I can't give it. But I can certainly say that our previous acharyas in our Guru Varga paid intense attention to encouraging devotees to chant the names. I spend less time doing that here, whereas I focus more on either the philosophy, or in this case now, understanding the Leela of the Lord. But please always remember that unless one chants the name of the Lord, there is no progress that can be made. All right, so let us begin. So last week we discussed chapters 2 and 3 of the 10th canto. Would anybody like to come and remind all of us what they heard, or what they might remember? Sonu Didi, please come to the front. Since we have a lovely volunteer, Sonu Didi raised her hand right away with a great enthusiasm. Oh, Didi, please hold this too. Last time we could not hear.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I think in the last class we talked about in Gokul, in Vrindavan, we talk about the birth of Lord Krishna, whereas when we were talking in the past, we were talking about the... Okay. Yeah. So in the past, we were talking about the advent of Lord Krishna, whereas once we have moved to Gokul, Vrindavan, then we are talking about the birth of Lord Krishna. So that's one point of difference, and it's also because the mood there is of love, whereas when we were talking in Mathura at that time, because they knew that it's the Lord, so it's more of reverence, and that was also reflected in how he was being carried from when he was crossing the river Yamuna. Initially, his father was carrying him on his head, whereas once he crossed the river Yamuna,
Opposite. First he was carrying him here, and then in Braj carried him. No problem.
Yeah, and then we also talked about when he was crossing the river Yamuna, because the river Yamuna Devi Yamuna was so keen on receiving the blessings of the Lord that how she gave way, but at the same time had this keen desire to touch the feet of the Lord, and how the Lord extended his feet from the basket to allow her to have that blessing. And then we touched upon how the babies were exchanged, and in that how the baby girl was taken, and Lord Krishna was replaced next to Yashoda Maya, and of course she was resting, so she was unaware of the exchange happening. And there was one picture that Prabhuji shared where the takeaway of the mood reflected that when he took the baby girl, and at that time there was a circle in that picture, that the halo around Lord Krishna, and that is the mood where this is the Lord and this is the baby, right? That difference was reflected there. And then we also discussed how when Mother Yashoda was feeding Lord Krishna, then how the Lord was, or Lord Krishna was enjoying, he was relishing that moment of getting that love through the milk from Mother Yashoda, and then how he wanted to get all of it, and so how he was reaching to both of her breasts to get the milk. And that is again the mood of love that is reflected in that discussion.
Krishna, would you like to speak something that you might remember? Mahārāja, can you please turn on at least that set of fans? Maybe not this one, but no.
I remember the Hare Krishna. I remember when the Vasudeva was in the jail, and then once Krishna was born, Yogamaya made all the guards sleep.
The right set of switches.
Yogamaya made all the guards sleep in the jail cell open, and Vasudeva was able to take Lord Krishna and go to Vrindavan. And on the way, Yamuna Devi made way by splitting so that there was solid ground. And because of Yogamaya, Vasudeva knew exactly where to go to reach Nanda Baba's house. And once she reached Nanda Baba's house, there was a fence around it, which made it hard to get into Nanda Baba's house. But because of Yogamaya, Yogamaya made it easy for Nanda Baba to get into, or for Vasudeva to get into Nanda Baba's house. And then when he got into Nanda Baba's house, he knew exactly where to go to find Yashoda Maya's room. And when he entered Yashoda Maya's room, he saw a baby girl, and he switched Yashoda Maya's girl with his baby Krishna. And all that time, Yashoda Maya was asleep because she was so tired after giving birth, which allowed him to take the girl without Yashoda Maya noticing. And then he went back to the jail, and once he went back, the girl started screaming and crying, and so all the guards woke up, and then Kaṁsa woke up, and he was like, God is here, which means God is like the Lord of time. And so he went, and Yashoda Maya was faking that this is my girl, it's not even, or sorry, Devaki was faking that this is my child, but she knew that her child was safe in Vrindavan with Yashoda Maya. And still, even though that the baby was a girl, Kaṁsa still killed her, or like took her by the legs and then bashed her. But before he was about to bash her, the baby slipped from his arms and became Durgā Maya. And usually Durgā Maya has 7 weapons and 1 hand blessing. But for Kaṁsa, or for Kaṁsa, all hands were like either had weapons, and that hand that was either was a blessing, was not blessing. It was like a fist that was going to destroy you. And seeing this, Kaṁsa got very scared. And he said that he wasn't going to do any bad deeds anymore, but he still went back to doing his bad deeds. And then there was a poem at the end written by Rupa Goswami. It was about a pastime where Yashoda Maya was breastfeeding baby Krishna, and baby Krishna wanted both the breast. The milk was coming out of both the breasts, so he had hands on both the breasts. And Yashoda Maya was like, "Oh, he's trying to take care of me." What he was sucking on one breast, and then the other hand was on the other breast. So Yashoda Maya thought that he was caring for me, but in reality, Krishna was just greedy for the milk on both breasts. He didn't want to waste it. And yeah, that's what I remember.
Okay, wonderful. Cool. Anyone else? Yes, Devotee. I feel like we're missing some important points. Please tell us those points.
Okay, so last week Prabhuji brought up a very, Hare Krishna. So he got a very beautiful Leela, which at least I am not aware of. So last to last, we did Drona and Dhara, who prayed for thousands of years to become parents of Yashoda Maya, no, parents of Krishna. And this time he got the story of Prishni and Suttapa. And they prayed for 12,000 years to become parents. They were Prajapatis, and they were supposed to have a lot of children, but they didn't. So that's why they prayed. But when Lord appeared to them, Prishni didn't think it through properly, or in his excitement, he asked that he wants a son. Then he wants a son like Krishna, but he didn't ask for Krishna himself. So then Lord thought that, okay, I want to give them the blessing, but there's no one like me. So I have to incarnate. And that's why when he appeared in Mathura, he showed he's the Lord. And the parents that were reborn as Devotee and Vasudeva, they took him in the God form, but not the sweetness. And then another part, very interesting, which I didn't understand initially, then Prabhu had to explain one more time, was Yashoda Maya had given birth to twins. And the Purna Roop Krishna was born through Yashoda. And then when Vasudev came to put baby Krishna, due to the influence of Yog Maya, he didn't see that baby Krishna is there. There are twins. He only saw Yog Maya, and he took the baby girl. Whereas there was Krishna also. And then when he put his Krishna, which was the opulent one, and then there was in the picture Prabhuji showed, that was not baby girl, that was actually Krishna. And he put the opulent Krishna on the normal, like a human form, which was born, which didn't appear, but actually born. And that's how both the Krishnas merged. I'm sorry if I'm missing anything. Yeah, that was the beautiful pastime, which is different.
Anyone else would like to say anything?
It's so amazing that names Vasudev, the father, Devaki, just the names. And in spite of Yayati, my names are wrong, that cursed his own clan, he wanted to become young. He still chose to bless Vasudev, and be born. And then कितने लोगों का उद्धार was Yamuna, सूर्य की बेटी है, she was not getting married, and whatever the story goes, but she got the उनका भी उद्धार हुआ. और पितरों की एक बेटी है जो राधा की माँ है, उनका भी उद्धार हुआ. इनके आने से सारी शक्तियाँ उनका clockwork में make sure everything goes as needs to go smoothly, seamlessly as we call. And so many people, so many souls are getting blessed. It's just magnificent. Yeah, when you go backward, forward, it just I can't explain this, but it's just magnificent. The power is magnificent.
Yes, this is definitely true. And therefore, every action, even the blink of Lord's eye, has some purpose behind it, not just a story. But as Prabhu mentioned, it accomplishes many objectives also in the Lord. So I feel that before we take a step forward, maybe we should review a little bit based on what I heard, unless anyone else would like to speak anything. Okay. Yes, Didi.
When Vasudeva was crossing the river, so there when he realized the Raja Prem and the kids were exchanged. So at that time he had the Vrindavan Krishna. Vrindavan Krishna. But when we mentioned that when he reached to Yashoda Maiya's womb, then he is again exchanging, Vrindavan Krishna is there and he is exchanging the Mathura Krishna. So again, how this exchange happened?
Okay, so these are many, many little points that we should understand before we move forward. I have one blank slide here. I'm just going to use this to talk about some things. Is that fine? So I wasn't planning on this, so excuse me for taking up some time, but I think this is very, very important. Let us talk from the beginning, and let us try to connect all the points together so that we understand them fully. Is that fine? And I want you all to interrupt me if you don't understand any of the points. Because when you place them, like Prabhu said, when you weave them together or you see the moods and the bhavs between each of the leelas, then you have a very beautiful appreciation for the whole picture. Is that fair? Sometimes if I, for example, what we're doing here is every week, which has many days in between, so it's not like it's continuous. Every week, let's say we're looking at the painting up there and I just pick out one little square and I highlight that square. Then I pick another square and highlight that square, right? And the next week I highlight that square. But actually sometimes also we should take a step back and look at the whole picture and see where those squares are lining up, right? This is also known as Simbalokan, how the lion takes a few steps forward and then gazes back to see his progress. Let's do that today because slight nuances were said by each devotee that I felt need to be clarified. So for now, we'll just take the example of Prishni and Suttapa because Deepa Didi mentioned it. And also Kamlesh Prabhu now is mentioning Yamuna Devi ka uddhar hua, inka uddhar hua, etc. So let's try to understand these points. So one is you have Prishni and Suttapa. These were Prajapatis, as Didi mentioned. That is, they were tasked by Lord Brahma to create progeny, right? To create children so that the world would expand. Unfortunately, due to circumstance, they could not have any children, so they performed tapasya for 12,000 years, all right? So they performed tapasya to Lord Vishnu, and being pleased after this tapasya, the Lord appeared. Sorry?
Lord appeared for 3 births.
No, wait. One thing at a time is very important. Lord appeared and he said, please have one boon. Now, as Didi mentioned, they asked the Lord, we want a son like you. Right? We talked about this. Now, Lord takes everything exactly the way the mood of the devotee. So, because they said like you, he says, Tatastu, sure, I will. give you a son like me. But then he began thinking, wait, there's no one like me. After all, I'm the supreme. So, but they didn't ask for me directly. They asked for someone like me. So Lord very cleverly said, not only will you have a son like me for this birth, you'll have a son like me for the next, for 3 births. So the Lord appeared in 3 births as the son of Prishni and Suttava. In his first birth, at that birth, he was known as Prishni Garbha, that is taking birth from Prishni. In the next one, he took birth as Vamandev, that is the son of Kashyap and Aditi. And in this one, he took birth as Vishnu, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So when the Lord said, there is no one like me, but they didn't ask for me in full. You mentioned this point. They didn't ask for me directly, they asked for someone like me. So he came as a avatar or a ansh. Ansh, the best English translation is part. A part. Now, let me give a material example, though it won't be a perfect example. If I go to Krishna Mulani and I say, oh Krishna, I wish to have a friend like you. Now Krishna will say, well, there's no one like me. After all, I'm an individual, unique person. So he says, well, he didn't ask me for me in full. He just asked me for a friend like me. So Krishna then, from time to time, he may come and visit me during the day and be my friend, etc. This is a material example, so try to take it in the way I'm describing it. So he comes to me from time to time. Sometimes he appears as my friend. Sometimes he appears as student of becoming a nurse. And then sometimes he may appear to me as son of Hema, etc. But really, he is not appearing to me in full, meaning he's with me 24/7 as my dear friend, right? Some of Krishna's friends, I'm assuming, look at him as my college buddy. Others look at him as my cousin. Others may look at him as my boyfriend, assuming that he has a girlfriend. Are these not all friends in one sense, right? But they're each looking at him in part. None of them have the complete picture of Krishna. You are not just a student becoming a nurse, right? That's not your only characteristic. That's just a part of you. Similarly, because the Lord agreed to become the son that is like him, he came in his parts. Okay? We understand this point? Did you understand this point? When he came as the part of Devaki and Vasudeva, he came as 4-handed Vishnu form. Right? We all saw that he came in his 4-handed form. Remember that this is just an ansh of Purna Bhagavan, as she mentioned. Just an ansh. Because just like when Arjun was on the battlefield and Krishna displayed his 4-handed form or his universal form, then Arjun said, no. I want to see you in your original Shamsundar form, your original 2-handed form. And then he finally became his original 2-handed form. So when he's fulfilling this desire, he also takes the ansh form in front of Vasudeva and Devaki. So remember this. Now when Vasudeva and Devaki see him, they remember, he reminds them also that I promised you, this is the last of my appearances. This is my 3rd time. Previously you were Kashyap and Aditi. Previously you were Prishni and Suttava. All right, so he reminds them, and then of course he becomes the baby child form. He takes the breast milk of Mother Devaki, and then he proceeds on his way to Vrindavan. Now when he goes, yes?
So the Lord appeared in front of them and he said that you will only get a part, but he came as Lord Vishnu, right?
So Lord Vishnu is who? Remember this from our previous discussions. Who is Lord Vishnu in comparison to Krishna? Do you remember? No hint from your husband. He won't be there to rescue when the Lord appears in front of you, right? Lord appears in front of you, will Kamlesh Prabhu be on the side and say, hey, make sure you tell him this.
He'll call me.
Oh, she'll call you. Then the Lord will disappear. By the time you come, he'll say, I'll come back later.
And then she scolded me that you didn't ask this.
Well, that's the nature. So who is Vishnu in comparison to Krishna? Is Vishnu the original or is Vishnu an ansh?
Yeah, he is the,
Let her answer.
he is the Ansh. But I would say, like Lord Brahma, he is also a Lord, right?
Mhm. But how is Lord Vishnu an ansh? Because we say Bhagavan Vishnu, no? Vishnu Bhagavan. How is he an ansh? You just told me he's Supreme Lord.
I don't know.
Okay, let's take another material example to understand. Krishna Mulani, the same example, when he goes to, what was the school name? Baylor? UT Health. When he goes to UT Health on Monday and he's the student in the classroom, is he Krishna Mulani? Is he? Yes. But in that role he's playing, is the student the whole identity of Krishna Mulani? No. He's also son of Hema. He's also friend of XYZ. He's got so many different roles he plays. When you combine all the roles together, then that makes Krishna one. But if you see him just at UT Health, are you getting the full picture? Similarly, when you see Vishnu's, he's just a portion of him, playing the role of creator of this material universe, one of the Vishnus. Remember, there are 3 Vishnus, but we won't get into so much detail today, right? But you see how it's just an ansh of him? So Vishnu, the creator of the material universe, the maintainer of the maintainer of the material universe, is he the entire Bhagavan? But he's still Bhagavan. Make sense? Okay. So in this way, Vishnu appears to Devaki and Vasudeva. Okay? Now, as an ansh, just like the student Krishna Mulani, when he goes back home, that's probably his more natural state. Correct? Similarly, when Vishnu becomes a child, Vasudeva carries him across the Yamuna, then he enters into the original Krishna who's at his home, Vrindavan. Okay? So when we said that Mother Yashoda had twins, actually the original Krishna took birth at the same time that Devaki saw Vishnu or Vasudeva in the jail cell. The same time Mother Yashoda also gave birth to Krishna. When Vasudeva was carrying, and he came into the home of Mother Yashoda, and he puts the baby down, he does not see the original Krishna. Now, I didn't bring this up last time. Why do you think he doesn't see? We say Yogamaya, but there's also a hidden reason. Think about this from a ras perspective.
He does not have that pure Braja Prem for Krishna.
So how can he see Brajendra Nandan Krishna? Right? So he does not see that Krishna. So when he places his son, he thinks he's placing the son, taking the daughter. But what's actually happening is that original Krishna, that ansh, just like the student goes back home, it's almost like the student merges into the original Krishna. Similarly, that ansh then merges into the original Krishna. Now it's following? Everybody's following? Or is it very difficult still?
Is it fair to say that this is how he takes Drone and Thara and merges them to be his eternal parents in this variation of this Yuga?
All right, so this point was brought up too. I think you were not here, Prabhu, so we'll just address it very quickly. But I'll get to it and I'll also get to your question. So Vasudeva is carrying Vishnu. Vasudeva goes to Vrindavan, right? And then this Vishnu, sorry for all the lines, is merging with original Krishna because he's just his part. Okay? Now follow? All right. Therefore, the Vrajavasis, when we say Yashodanandan, it is not just a mood. It is not just a feeling. Oh, wo to Brajvasi kahenge, because they have love for the Lord, so they say he's Yashoda's son. But actually, this happened. This is the vision of the previous Acharya. Okay? Make sense? Can I erase this? All right. Now, let's go to Didi's question, and then I'll go to Kamlesh Prabhu's comment about Drona and Dara. So what Gurudev has given, because he's a Brajavasi, he said that when Vasudeva is crossing the Yamuna, right? So he's crossing the Yamuna. Then what happens when he's carrying the basket? Krishna falls into the Yamuna. That is Mathura or Vishnu. Mathura Krishna. And on the border of Mathura and Vrindavan, I can't believe we're discussing this on Saturday class. Mathura and Vrindavan, then Vrindavan Krishna comes in his basket and then proceeds. Now she says, well, what about, why did they merge then if that's his original Swarup, right?
No, here we said that when at the border, the kids were exchanged.
Not kids were exchanged.
Vrindavan Krishna came into the basket and the Mathura Krishna was in the water, right? And then when he reaches the Bhavan, then again we are saying that
He merged.
he's
Merged.
no, not merged, but when he's placing the baby, he's placing
Mathura Krishna.
Mathura Krishna. But at the border, he got Vrindavan Krishna, right? And Mathura Krishna was in water. Then why it is again reversed? He should be having Vrindavan Krishna in his hand.
All right. So in each pastime, let us not use our Martya Buddhi, that is our material mindset. Well, that exchange happened here, so then therefore it's not working. Sorry, Gurudev, you're wrong or they're wrong. Somebody's wrong. Okay. We quote this verse in Upadeshamrita series. I don't know if you heard it, but I'll just bring it up again. Śrīla Rupa Goswami says, if there is a crystal in the middle of a room, yeah? If there's a crystal in the middle of the room, now Sonu Didi is looking at that crystal and you're looking at that crystal. What happens? Same crystal, but Sonu Didi, due to the reflection of light and the angle at which she's looking at, it may appear as blue and green and yellow, right? Crystal contains all colors. Krishna, correct me, scientist? All right. But Ritu Didi is looking at it from this angle. She may see red, purple, orange, etc. Same crystal? Yes? Okay. So different acharyas have different visions. If we connect all of the acharyas, we may find some discrepancies. But we should take one acharya's line and go all the way and relish that mood. Then we take another acharya's line and we take that all the way and relish that mood. Understand? So if I were to say, well, no, it's not orange. I mean, it's not blue, red, blue, and yellow. Well, it is. But then I cannot also say it's not orange, purple, and whatever color I picked. I don't know. Both are correct, but looking at it from different angles of vision. Similarly, let us also take a step back. I had mentioned that those who have this Aishwarya feeling of the Lord, they should hang out in Mathura. They're also correct. It's not that they have no prema for the Lord. We corrected that last time, right? And that's why we shouldn't use words like, this one has pure prema, that one doesn't have pure prema. No, they have prema, but they have a different tinge of mood. Tomorrow is Shivratri, so I'm not sure what is going to be spoken tomorrow, but some may say, well, Lord Shiva is a Devata. Okay, but we have also learned that Lord Shiva is Bhagavan. So some may see in this angle, Some may see him as the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Some may see him as Bhagavan. Some may even see him as the creator of the universe. All of them are true, depending on which angle of vision you see him. But from a person who wants to understand the crystal in full, they want to know what you think, meaning Shastra says, Acharya say, and then they can really relish, wow, this crystal has millions of colors. Right? Because even her angle is just a limited one, but Bhagavan is unlimited. Therefore, he cannot be understood with just one angle. Hence, all the acharyas have very beautiful commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. We should be able to reconcile and relish all of them. Yeah? So when we hear different kathas, for example, we may go to Mathura, and there may be a sadhu there speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, and there he will boldly declare as the Lord is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And उन्होंने मथुरा में ही जन्म लिया, तो उनकी भी भावना सही है. It may not match, but that doesn't mean that it's false. ठीक है? All right. So in this case, now let's bring up Prabhu's question about Drona and Dhara. Did you listen, Prabhu, to the class? Because you mentioned something that I get the hint that you listened to something. Okay. So Drona and Dhara, or Prishni and Sutapa, Drona, Dhara, Prishni and Sutapa are examples of stories. Examples of stories in the Puranas, and Prabhu brought up Yamuna Devi as the daughter of Surya Dev, etc., of different stories in the Puranas. And now, because of various either promises that he made or promises that other of his devotees made, such as Lord Brahma, then the Lord also fulfills all of those in his Leela pastimes. So he blesses Sutapa and Prishni, becomes their son, Drona and Dhara becomes their son. But in the eternal sense, that Vasudeva and Devaki and Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba are eternal. There is no chance of them being replaced. Therefore, it is said, this is one more detail we didn't highlight, but now Prabhu is here, so I feel comfortable to give more detail, that in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami says that Drona and Dhara and Prishni and Sutapa, for example, were Prajapatis. They're not ordinary humans, right? So because they're Prajapatis, the way they actually obtained the son, the way they actually obtained being a parent of the Lord, is they actually lent their bodies. That is the science behind it. They lent their bodies. Those eternal Vasudeva and Devaki came, descended, but they lent their bodies to them, and in that way, they also became the parents of Vishnu or Krishna, and of course, the eternal remained the same. So remember, I said that Didi, you will not replace Mother Yashoda. You will serve her, right? But you will have that Vatsalya Prem, that feeling of love that Krishna is my son. So in this way, Drona and Dhara fulfill that. How are they serving? By lending their bodies. Okay, so this is the reconciliation for how do we explain the story of Drona and Dhara? But then we also hear the Lord's associates are eternally with him at all times.
Can I share something for 30 seconds?
Of course, Prabhu.
So what impresses me is the magnanimity of these Prajapatis. They didn't ask for the Lord. And they could have, they took their kartavya to be stronger than their own liberation. And that's why I don't know the story of Krishna Garbha. I just don't know. But the rest too maintained the decorum of the Shrishti. So they carried that forward because that was their promise to Brahma. So they're just magnanimous. They could have asked for anything, but they अपने कर्तव्य को आगे रखा. बड़ी बात है.
Everything is done in proper arrangement. Everything. And we'll discuss that a little bit today when we talk about even ourselves. All right, so I don't know how much we're going to cover today, but let's try to cover some. Is that fine? We can move on? Did everybody understand it? Any doubt, Dili? Okay.
Sachin Prabhu,
Yes.
I heard that
when we are thinking from the different viewpoint of the different commentaries of our Guru, it's not just one universe where there's Leela, there is Advent and the birth, both taking place. In finite universe, in finite count.
Hence why the Leelas may be slightly different. And therefore, sometimes you may hear, that Yamuna split and Vasudeva walked right through it. Other times you may hear Yamuna is over flooding, trying to touch the feet of Krishna. Well, hey, what happened? That doesn't seem to make sense. You told me one time it split. How could she overflood? So in this way, different universes, different Prakritya Leela, different appearances have slightly different tinges. Because again, variety is the spice of life. Therefore, the Lord has unlimited variety also.
In one Manu, there are 71 Maharukas. And that's less than 1 out of Brahma, one Manu. So forget multiverses, we just mentioned in the Puranas. Happening so many times, variations are happening.
Correct. Also, this is Leela, which is a drama. Now, if you all are if I'm the director of the drama, let's say, and you all are the actors and actresses, every time you go to a new city and you perform the drama, right, for the pleasure of your audience, is it going to be the exact same every time?
No.
Huh?
No.
Ever fresh. Sometimes somebody might make a mistake on one line, and sometimes somebody might, not mistake, but somebody may change the word once in a while. But the overall picture remains relishable, full of rasa. Okay, let's move on, yes? So that way we can go on to the next point. All right. All right, so last time we ended the class, or at least most of the ending was regarding Kaṁsa encountering Durgā Devī. So not Durgā Māyā, but Durgā Devī. All right, so Durgā Devī is chastising Kaṁsa, and Mahārāja Kaṁsa, of course, experiences some reflection, and he also feels some regret. Remember, even the demons are well versed in Shastra. Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, etc., they were well versed in Shastra. Similarly, Mahārāja Kaṁsa was also well versed in Shastra. So, in one sense, they are Jay and Vijay, the Dwarpal of Lord Vishnu. So they are not ordinary people also. Now, I'm so happy when Krishna walked in, because so many verses we will reflect on today. But I want you to just, we'll have Krishna read a few of the verses. Later on, we'll just have Krishna only read the verses. For now, let's repeat some of them, but due to sake of time, I'll just ask him to recite them. So go ahead. Iti prabhasyatam devi Māyā Bhagavati bhuvi bahunama niketeshu bahunama babhuvaha.
After speaking to Kaṁsa in this way, the goddess Durga, Yogamaya, appeared in different places, such as Varanasi, and became celebrated by different names, such as Annapurna, Durga, Kali, and Bhadra.
All right, so we have heard previously also in the first chapter when Durgā Devī or Māyā Devī comes to serve the Lord, Yogamaya Devi, comes to take the order of the Lord, and he instructs her to go and arrange that all the Devi Devtas should come and take birth, and she should arrange the situation such that it is favorable for his pastimes. Now here, this is Māyā Devī, not Yogamaya, but Māyā Devī, who came in front of Kaṁsa. And now various names, you may have heard these various names in reference to Durgā Devī, and you'll also see the placement of where she went next. So after Māyā Devī appeared in front of Kaṁsa, she then went to various places around the Bharatvarsh, and then she took her worship in those places. In those places, if you go, there are great temples with these deity names, but there they worship her in the form of Māyā Devī, not Yogamaya or Purnamasi Devi. So that is a point to be noted here that our acharyas make. All right, let's continue.
Mojaya
Mochayam asanigadad. Vishrabdha Kanyakagira Devakim Vasudevam Cha Darshayan Atma Sohidam.
Kaṁsa exhibited his familial affection for Devotee and Vasudeva by releasing them from their iron shackles.
All right, so we mentioned this last time. So when one encounters the wrath of Māyā Devī, then one immediately feels regret upon the sinful activities that they perform. Now, if we think about this in our life, we also experience the same thing. I gave the example one time, and I sometimes regret giving this example, but it's a small group, so it's okay. I gave this example one time of my aunt, whose son, at a young age, got cancer. Now, when she found out about this, the first thing she did was call my mother up and say, I want to come to the temple. And she came for a few weeks. And then she tried to do some tapasya or prayaschit in order to regret, atone, etc. Then after her son was cured, she was no longer to be seen. Similarly, Kaṁsa has this, Māyā Devī, Durgā Devī appeared. She's very vicious. Now I will get punished because she told me if I do anything like this, she will punish me. So I won't do it again. This is the nature of someone who is playing in the lap of Maya or floating in the wave of Maya. Some point they do sinful activities, then other times they feel some regret when they're experiencing the pain of this material world. They say, oh, maybe I got this because I did something bad to another person. Then I regret it. So you can see here the lower class mentality. That is, those who just flop in the waves of Maya and how they at some point feel some happiness upon performing sinful activities and other times regretting their actions. Then Kaṁsa said this. Sattvaham tyakta karunyas tyakta gyati suhrit kalaha kan lokan vegamishyami brahma heva mitah shvasam.
Being merciless and cruel, I have forsaken all my relatives and friends. Therefore, like a person who has killed a Brahmana, I do not know to which planet I shall go, either after death or while breathing.
So here Kaṁsa is experiencing further regret, understanding that he has done some wrong activity by killing the sons of Devaki. And because the sons of Devaki are not ordinary persons, after all, she's the queen, and she is his sister, then in actuality he killed his own nephews. So Kaṁsa is experiencing some realization that, I've done something wrong and I definitely will get the result. And this is the kind of unhappiness that a sinful person experiences. So dear devotees, many times as we are practicing devotion, we often see a counterpart, perhaps another family member, perhaps someone who is a colleague, or even another person in this world who is our friend, and we see, wow, they're enjoying life very nicely. Every weekend is a nice party. They do this, they do that, and they seem to be smiling much more than I do. After all, sometimes I have to stay up till midnight because I need to finish Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But they're over there drinking and having merry till midnight. They don't have such requirements. And not only that, they're getting so many material gains. Society is adoring them. They have so much wealth and fame, etc. What is this? So please be assured, just like a drunk person has a hangover the next day. And does a hangover feel very good? Of course, I don't know, but I have heard that there's a lot of headache that comes with it. Similarly, those engaged in sinful activity, that is adharmic activity, not following dharma, they too also experience anguish and pain and suffering May not be externally, but certainly within the mind. So in this way, Kamsa is experiencing this. Now, Krishna, just recite the verse due to time, and then we'll read the translation.
In the bodily conception of life, one remains in darkness without self-realization, thinking I am being killed or I have killed my enemy. As long as a foolish person thus considers the self to be the killer or the killed, he continues to be responsible for material obligations, and consequently he suffers the reactions of happiness and distress.
Okay, let's read it again without saying it out loud, because this is an important verse. And then I'll ask Krishna what his opinion on this verse is.
Read it again.
You can read it internally, you don't have to read it loudly. Okay? What do you think Kamsa is trying to say now? He just killed.
So this is basically identifying with the body. If you identify with the body.
Imagine you're the murderer of 7 children. Now you go to the mother of those 7 children, you're experiencing some regret, and then you start giving her, what do you say? You say sorry first, and then you start to justify. You start to justify.
He's saying this verse after saying sorry.
Yeah.
He's saying it's only the body, no big deal. That's what he
Arey, Didi, you know all Shastra, no? After all, Shastra says, these are just bodies. So those who think I'm the killer or he got killed by this, they're just thinking on the bodily concept. So I'm not the killer. I didn't do anything wrong. It was providence that made this happen. After all, it's due to their own karma that they got killed at such a young age. So I'm just a doer, but the Lord is the ultimate controller of all that is happening. Vah! Bade bhashan dete Kans Maharaj, right? He gives a nice lecture. Is this true? Is it true, Didi? No? How is it not true? Yes, Kamlesh Babu, tell me how it's not true. Huh? The intent, okay. But is it not true that those kids received the result of their karma? We had actually talked about that they committed an offense to Lord Brahma.
I was coming from the angle that if Kamsa is trying to absolve himself of his own karmas, the only thing that you really own in this world is your karmas. And he had the intent of killing them, and he did it viciously. If it was by accident, bacha gir gaya, that's a different story. This can apply. So I don't, और माँ दुर्गा मैया का असर केवल 2 वर्ष तक और खत्म भी हो गया. So he did that in regret, and now he's coming back to his own self. That's what I'm thinking. If that answers.
Yes, so the demoniac mentality will then begin to justify the actions. I will give you an example of this. I love to give personal examples, but I never take the name, so that way you don't know who I'm talking about. And that's better that way. We're just trying to learn the essence of this. So one time, I think if I say this, some of you will know who it is, so I'll refrain from this. I met some family, and we were discussing Bhagavad Gita, etc. And the person, I really don't want to say this, the person at the home began to practice bhakti in a more serious way. And I thought, wow, wonderful. This person is becoming devotees, understanding Shastra very nicely. Wonderful. Then 1 or 2 weeks, unfortunately, we were unable to meet. And then the next time we met, he said, Sachin, I would like to tell you something. He said, actually, last weekend, we didn't do this because I actually went to a party. And I went to a party and I got drunk. And, I was restraining myself, but I just couldn't do it. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, okay, so be it, whatever it is. And I don't tend to pay much attention to all this, nor try to become a psychologist. So then he said, then 1 or 2 weeks more passed, and then he admitted again he got drunk at some party. And then finally he came to the conclusion, and that's when the meetings sort of stopped. he said, you know what, this is not really for me. Because the truth is what I saw myself is, I got into this stuff too much, and then I lost all my friends. And then whenever my friends would invite me, I didn't want to go because I thought, oh, I'm going to get drunk over there, so better I just don't go, right? I said, okay. And then he said, but then I started feeling sad. Like I lost all my friends. Every time they invite me, I say, no, that doesn't seem right. I don't have to lose my friends for this, right? I said, no, Prabhu, you don't have to lose your friends for this. And then he said, yeah, so I would rather just be a little normal. You know, I'll come once in a while and things like that. I said, so be it, Prabhu, as you wish. So I was remembering that situation. I'm not comparing him to Mahārāja Kaṁsa, of course, and nor am I comparing getting drunk or something like that to killing of children. What I'm trying to say is, many of us, when we're practicing devotion, we experience the allure of our previous life. Because frankly speaking, those who are following bhakti, it's like, especially those of us who are still materially engrossed like me, it's like having one foot in one boat and one foot in another boat. And both boats are going in a different direction. So at some point, what happens? Your legs split, your legs split, your legs split. And sometimes you fall in the middle and then you don't know which way to go. If you were to fall in the river and two boats are going, you'll start to swim towards one of them, right? After all, you need to save yourself. And many times what happens is we swim to the one that we were most familiar with. And that is our previous life. Because for many, many lifetimes, forget about this one, we have been on that boat. So we feel comfortable and familiar in that boat, and we feel some abhav or some lacking in this boat. Because we haven't made it all the way on the path of ras, where we're experiencing some ras, but we still also feel some maybe disgust with this side. So in this way, we have to remain very strong. It is not easy. It's really not easy to be on the path of bhakti. The path less taken is generally the path more difficult. But the path more difficult and the path less taken also gives us a fruit that no one else is able to relish. So I can assure you, not because of my own assurance, but because of the promise of the previous acharyas, that there is a fruit waiting that is to be relished, that is unlike any other fruit in this material world. So Kaṁsa here, he's using the power of Shastra in order to accomplish his own objectives. But we should refrain from using the power of Shastra or some kind of mental speculation, because what Shastra is telling us about karma is that you will reap the rewards of what you sow. Therefore, choose your actions wisely. And yes, though it may be that the Lord arranges the various results from all of our karmas, still the intent matters, as Prabhu mentioned. So intent and consciousness drive results, not the action themselves. So Kaṁsa is here trying to use Shastra and in order to justify his behavior. Let us move on. Prabhu, did you have something you want to say? Okay. So go ahead, Krishna. Go ahead. We have limited time.
Persons with the vision of differentiation are imbued with the material qualities lamentation, jubilation, fear, envy, greed, illusion, and madness. They are influenced by the immediate cause, which they are busy counteracting because they have no knowledge of the remote supreme cause, the personality of Godhead.
All right. So this is even more bhashan, and this is a next level bhashan. That is, Kaṁsa is saying that if you have this idea that I am the killer, or this bodily conception of life, then what happens? You'll start to get into sadness, happiness, fear, etc. And when you get into that, that's actually completely illusion. When you understand that whatever is happening is actually due to the supreme cause. That is, the Lord is making everything happening. It is said in the Shastra that not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme. We've heard this? So Kaṁsa can also use this. That not even a killing of a child happens without the will of Bhagavan. So dear Devaki, don't think that I'm the killer. I was just the tool that the Lord used in order to kill the sons, your sons. And this line right here is very important. Oops. Krishna, can you read this again?
They are by the immediate cause which they are busy counteracting.
What is the immediate cause that one thinks of when an event happens? Krishna, imagine you are Kaṁsa. You just killed the sons of Devaki. You are talking to Devaki and asking for forgiveness, but trying to justify your actions. Then in one way you say, well, now you see your dead sons, but you think, who is the cause? That you are the cause. So immediately when we see a result, we try to deduce the cause of it, right? For example, in our own life, we think when something, especially when something bad happens, we never think when something good happens. But when something bad happens, we say, this person or thing is the cause of this result. Do we not? Because they were rude to that person divorced them. Because they were killed by that person is the murderer. But what is Kaṁsa saying here? When they become influenced by that mentality, they are busy counteracting it. See, Didi, don't be so rude. Dekho, aapka husband chala gaya. You're the reason. Therefore, you should fix yourself. Understand this point? But what is he saying in conclusion, Krishna? Who is the ultimate cause? Bhagavan. Aha, now this poses a big problem. Because, Kamlesh Prabhu, is this true? No?
It is true, but had he been killing the kids and saying, Lord, I'm doing it for you, offering it to the Lord, I would be agreeing to some degree. He was not doing that. And that is Gita.
Okay. But ultimately, is Bhagavan sanctioning that activity?
He would be.
Shri Radha Govind Ji ki jai. This is such a tough topic. Let's elevate ourselves from Bhagavad Gita now.
So I agree that in this world, not even a blade of grass can move without his permission. I agree with that. Okay. So whatever Leela had to happen would have been sanctioned.
Hold on. Lord sanctions everything. Is this a true or a false statement?
He allows the law of karma to then take over.
Okay.
He would not intervene all the time.
Okay.
So from that perspective, yes, the law of karma it takes over, which is his law to the Shrishti.
His law. Okay. Lord, I agree with you 100%. In fact, the way you've eloquently put it is correct. But in the end, his law sanctions everything.
Yes, his law of karma is working.
Now, previously we have heard the sons of Devaki committed an offense to Brahmadev, and therefore they were cursed to be killed upon birth. Therefore, is he not sanctioning to fulfill that purpose?
Yes.
So, killing Devaki's sons is sanctioned by the Lord. That's the conclusion that Kaṁsa is making.
That's what I think.
Okay. Now, this statement is very true, that the Lord sanctions everything. We can take the evidence also from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says in chapter 18 to Arjun, "Oh Arjun, those who think they are the doer, they're actually falsely misled. Because if you remember, there are 5 parts to any action, not just you. I don't remember all 5, unfortunately, but it's the intent, the person who does the activity, the person who sanctions the activity, the field, meaning the environment in which that activity can occur, and the knower of, the 5th, the knower of that activity. So amongst all 5 of, I'm getting very technical because this is very important, all 5, amongst them, only 1 is you. 1 piece is you. 4 out of the 5 are out of your control, right? So similarly, Kaṁsa is saying, well, hey, it's not really all me. After all, this has been sanctioned by the Lord. And therefore, he's the supreme cause of everything. And when Kaṁsa says this, Vasudeva agrees. Vasudeva and Devaki agree because they're also very learned and they understand. Because tatte anukampam susamikshamano. That is, the devotee looks at everything that occurs to them, whether good or bad, quote unquote, good or bad, as favorable for his devotional service. One of our acharyas, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj said, every wave is favorable. That means a wave of happiness or a wave of distress. Now, I'm going to pause right here because we understand and are against this principle when it comes to any negative activity. Very easily, we can just say, no, this is not justified. But I'm going to request you all to now look at this same principle from a positive side. Because oftentimes we attribute our positives to ourselves and our negatives to someone else. So let us look at the positive side. And I'm bringing up a slightly different topic. I really hope this video plays because this is what Gurudev, very hard to capture this from just this video, but now we have some background. So let's try to understand it. I really thought this video was a... Okay, I'm going to start. Sorry, I want to pause. Oh, this is a different, oh, it must have loaded the next video. Okay. So Gurudev here has said,
I remember that Gurudev said at this time of death, we don't think of Guru, we think of Guru.
that's a different video, but not the same conversation. Yeah. So he says, whether you want, do these calamities or problems, what did he say? Come or not. This we understand now, that calamities or problems in our life come to us because of our previous karma. Now we take the flip side, and he also said, therefore, a pure devotee sees that money will come or not come. Let me just get the exact statement. Money will come. A pure devotee will see that money will come whether you want or not. So, why to over endeavor? This is the idea or mood of a pure devotee, not all. Let us analyze this statement a little more. Money will come automatically whether you want or not. So that devotee is asking Gurudev, if I have desire to earn money, will this become an impediment to my bhakti? And then he responds saying, well, first of all, Prabhu, when you think of the opposite, that is, when calamities or problem comes, do they come because you want them or they come automatically? They come automatically due to your previous activities. Then he's taking the flip side, the positive side. Money may come automatically whether you want or not. Why would somebody not want it?
Maybe they think that luxury will prevent them from going on the path of bhakti. That's not a simpler life. Like if you have a bigger business and it's doing well, and then it will demand more and more of your time and effort.
But you may not want it.
Yeah, you may not want it.
But it still will come. Understand? All of us are wanting money to come. But some may be getting money even though they don't want it. That's because of their previous karma. So someone who is understanding previous karma very well, their prarabdha, that is due to their previous activities, they may have been very charitable. So, because they're charitable, they're definitely going to get something, right? Though they may now be elevated to a higher understanding that, why did I do punya? I'm just getting material benefit. Now I want to be on the platform of bhakti, which has nothing to do with this area. But because of my previous punya, I'm definitely going to get the result. I can't avoid it. So in this way, it may come whether you want or not. But what does the devotee do when they react in this? They say, now I will no longer do such things. I cannot fix my past, but definitely now I won't do this. So why to over-endeavor? The rest of us are over-endeavoring because we want the money. But there may be a pure devotee who's getting money and they don't want it. So they stop over-endeavoring. That's why Gurudev says this is the idea of a pure devotee, not all. So, because the pure devotee is accepting that the Lord is the cause of everything, they do accept this. They see that, oh, whatever is unfavorable that is coming due to my own past result. But whatever good is coming is due to the mercy of the Lord. They don't attribute themselves at all. Therefore, this verse we have repeated 1,000 times in this class. Tatte anukampam susamikshamano. Someone who is samikshamano, very astute observant. Someone who is very, very watching very carefully. Susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam. He does not get wound up in the happiness or distress because he understands whatever is coming to him is because of his previous activities. But now he wants nothing to do with that. He'll take them because he knows he has to pay the price for whatever he did. But now, hirdvag vapurvir vidadan namaste. He spends or she spends their time simply engaging in worship of the Lord. And in this way, jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. they become eligible for receiving the inheritance, that is, the wealth of prema, and for some mukti, etc. So the reason I was bringing this up is because Kaṁsa's statements are very true, but they're misutilized. We can misutilize Shastra and say, and justify our previous actions and try to free our mind from the sinful results. But that does not get us out of the sinful results. What will free us from those sinful results is engaging in the devotion of the Lord. Hema Didi, if I remember correct, no, Ritu Didi, if I remember correctly, you spoke about the 3 types of karma. Do you remember them? Please tell me. You can erase, I can erase this and you can explain it once again, because now I'll make the final connection of what Gurudeva is trying to say. Maybe you will make the connection. Oh, sorry. 1 second.
Okay. Is correct.
Yeah, use the back side, just like that.
But it's coming red. Oh, black. So we have Sanchit karma over here. All lives, from all lives. Previous lives. Then some part of this comes in our current life.
This is known as?
Prarabdha. So this is Sanchit. This is Prarabdha. And in that same current life, we have Kriyaman karma. These are our spontaneous, what we are doing right now. Sorry?
Building the bank.
Yeah. Yes, correct. For the next life. So what else?
Or even this life.
Sorry?
Some of your Kriyaman karma, you may get resolved right away.
Yeah.
For example, if I punch you and you punch me back.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. So what else?
So now, in what order is it destroyed by the power of?
Okay, so with the power of bhakti, very first thing, the Sanchit karma are destroyed. Because if there is no factory, with the help of bhakti, if there is no factory, we will not take birth again and again. Maybe few lives, whatever is needed. And then after that, our Kriyaman karma becomes better. These become better.
Better meaning?
Better meaning when we are in bhakti, we understand, we have the knowledge that we are responsible for our accountability comes basically. That I am responsible, the karmas are giving me effect. If I'm doing something now, again I'm building up for the next life.
So better.
So it's a devotee mentality. So better I should improve my karmas,
Improve your karma, that's first step. Then,
Do my actions as an offering to
Offering the Lord.
so therefore, is it karma?
No.
Then it becomes
Bhakti.
bhakti.
Hmm.
So you don't do any karma.
You don't have
Right. Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
So this way, that's also finished.
Correct. Yeah.
Understand? It's not that you start doing good actions. That's also karma.
No, not good actions. Of course not.
That becomes,
Both
your actions become bhakti.
bhakti.
either through indirect bhakti, meaning you offer all your actions and say, Prabhu, jo main kar raha hu, aapke liye hi kar raha hu. Or I give the results, or I engage in direct devotional service. These are the ways.
Correct.
So that's finished.
Yeah, so this is done now. So this goes first. This goes second.
Then
Finally, we have our prarabdha. So in prarabdha also we are still following bhakti. But still we have some issues, some problems left, some sufferings are still coming. But now as the person has become a devotee, so his mentality changes. So he thinks whatever is coming to me is for my own benefit. And to convince that point, we repeatedly said that Bhagwan is watching here and he is like a parent. So he knows that this guy has surrendered to me. What is good for him? I know best, better than him. With that example of a child, we understood that if a child is complaining, there is a lot of work in the school, I don't want to do it. So as a parent, we just explain child, we motivate the child to get up early in the morning and discard all the unwanted activities from your day and use that time for your betterment. So similarly, even God as a parent, he is giving us suffering because he knows that is best for us. With that we become intelligent and mature, and this is how this goes in the end.
as this is gradually going, Didi, now you have, let's say, 7 dots here. I'm just picking on that.
This one?
You have 7 dots.
Okay.
So slowly you're finishing those karma, you get the results, finished, right? Maybe in that heap, you punch somebody punches you. Okay, now it's done. 6 are left, then 5 are left, then 4 are left.
So you are talking about here, right?
So now after very few are left, but still some suffering comes. Then how do you explain this?
Is it not the same explanation I gave earlier, like God as a parent? With that explanation, we cannot convince.
Complete that explanation.
I felt it's complete.
Okay, anybody?
I don't know.
Yes,
I can tell from you.
go ahead.
You said the suffering will come even in the, even we are trying to be a devotee, in the devotional life, suffering will also come until we don't reach to the stage of the bhav, or prema.
Bhav, not prema.
Oh, sorry, bhav.
Can your body handle prema? But you can handle bhav. Okay? So you're in bhav. You may have only 1 dot left. Or maybe you have 0 dots left because you attained bhav. But still some suffering comes. Bharat Maharaj attained bhav. Still deer came. Right? Oh man, 2 lives gone. Why?
Because Bhagwan wanted to erase even that dot.
Let's say now 0 dots. He has attained bhava, that is the stage right before prema. Still, he got a deer. Man, kya ho gaya yaar? Itna tapasya kiya maine. Phir bhi hiran aaya. Kyun?
God is testing again? No?
But he's already bhav.
He is in Bhav. Okay.
It's just an instrument for God now, and he's just.
But he hasn't achieved that, he hasn't made that cross. The power is stopping him.
ठीक है, but that's because he's got this material body. Later, when he achieves the spiritual body, he'll get the prema. Śrīla Rupa Goswami defines bhav as just like comparing the sun to prema, then bhava is a ray of that sun. For example, in the morning, when sunrise happens, first do you see the whole sun or do you see the ray? You see a ray. But when you see that ray, you also get one other further assurance that the sun will come too. So when one achieves bhav, he can be assured very soon the sun of prema will also come. So in this case, he has achieved bhav. Now no more dots are left. He is fully absorbed in the Lord. Still some suffering comes. What did you say, Didi?
He's just becoming an instrument in God's will.
Therefore, when we see the suffering of the devotees in the Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc., and if they were sadhaks, I'm not talking about the eternal associates like Sita Devi. No. I'm talking about those who are practitioners, aspiring to achieve prema. They may also experience some suffering like Mahārāja Kaṁsa. And in this way, some acharyas say Mahārāja Bharat committed one offense to a Vaishnava, and that's what came in the form of a deer, and therefore he went through just a little bit more to cleanse him. That's also fair. And some acharyas also say that he became the Lord's instrument to teach in the Bhagavatam that don't make the mistake of giving up the association of devotees even when you achieve bhav. Don't think that now I'm good. Now I've achieved bhav. Ab to yaar akela hi reh sakta hu.
Correct.
Understand?
Yes.
So, taking this into consideration of all we just learned today, why would I bring this example in again? What is Gurudev trying to say a pure devotee thinks in relation to positive and negative? That simply it is coming due to me being an instrument of the Lord.
Okay.
Therefore, when that Grihastha is asking, oh Gurudev, is this an impediment to bhakti? When Gurudev is correcting him saying, Arey Baba, abhi to tumko bhav hi nahi mila. You are thinking in that fashion of karma. Because that in the beginning, that applies. This formula applies. But later on, this formula doesn't apply. Because after all, we are not karma yogis. We are bhakti yogis. That is, karma is here and bhakti is transcendental, way above that. Therefore, all these formulas, they don't apply to the pure devotee. So in this way, we also have to look at the positive and the negative. All right, it's 12:30. We were going to discuss one lila of the Lord's childhood pastime. We'll do that next time. So today we'll end here. Oh, there won't be a next time next week. So due to traveling for Navadvip Parikrama, we will be out of town for the next 2 weeks. So there won't be any class for the next 2 weeks. So please forgive me for that. If you have a desire to attend Navadvip Parikrama, it starts next week on Wednesday. If you can make a last-minute trip, I will gladly help arrange your accommodation and or even flights. So please let me know if I can do that. We are visiting the Holy Land of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there you will experience the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatrivascha kripa sindhuvevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo